Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. It's Kaz here. Today we're doing a little review. I purchased this little machine locally, second-hand. I don't think it's been used much at all, and it is a Prym Midi knitting mill. Now, I've seen these online before and I thought, oh, what a curious looking little thing. So it's got a little hat on it, okay? This tensioning mechanism is otherworldly in my opinion, but we're going to give it a go and see what we get. We'll see what we get. We've got a knob on the side there for tube and for panel, much the same as the other knitting machines we used to, like the Addies and the Centros. We've got this plastic thing on the front here to feed the yarn in, but that's not removable. So in order to do some of the designs like trailing ivy and winter waffle and things like that in my playlist, it's going to be a little bit tricky, I think, to do that, because that's a barrier to doing all the wrapping that you need to do for those patterns. But anyway, let's have a look. It's a decently made machine. The only thing is it doesn't come with any clips or anything to mount it on the table. There's absolutely nothing there at all, apart from some rubber suckers to stop it from marking your work surface. So all in all, I don't know how this is going to work. The instructions that come with it, just pop it to one side there. These are the instructions that come with it. Like I said, I bought it second-hand. The lady assures me this is everything that she had in the box, and she'd used it a few times to make some little hats for preemies, apparently, preemie babies, bless them. So it gives you an outline of, you know, the knobs and things I just explained to you there. And threading it is an absolute test of mathematical skills, I believe. So that's how we thread the machine. There, like that. So we take the ball and we go round the back, thread it through, and up and over and in, and then we have to loop it over the needles like we do with any other machine. So let's crack on and give it a go and see how we go from there then. Right, wish me luck. I've got some Aran yarn here, scrap, in order to try, so we're going to unwind that because it says to do it from the skein. So let's put the instructions there to one side so we can see what we do and see if I follow it properly. So here's our little machine. So obviously we flop that down and we've got to take this off. Okay, take that off. I think that might have to go back on. Well, she's obviously marked a line there. All right, so that's needle 1, or 40, 20, is this 22? Yeah, I think it might be a 22. Yeah, it could be 22. So anyway, let's thread this up. So this is going to be coming from the back. So we come through. I know there's a little clippy thing there, but that's complicated. So through there like that. Now where? No, I've got this wrong, I think. Right, let's try this again. Yes, I think it goes down there like that. I think that's how it goes. And then it flops out. That can't be right then, can it? Sorry guys, I'm going to have a closer look at this picture. Okay, set it to 0, turn the crank clockwise until the coloured hook is slightly to the right. Thread the yarn through the tension piece and the yarn guide as indicated. Help! So let me do this bit first then, so got that, because that's easy to see, because I can hook it through there. Let's do that bit first. So that goes there like that, and then that goes up there. That's easy peasy, that's okay. And then, oh, I don't like this threading through a whole thing. And then through the hole, leave it drop in the middle there. So this one then, maybe that's the easiest way to do it, is to do it like that. It's definitely coming through there It's coming through the side like I've got it. So I think that's right, I think. So I found an easier way of threading it is to come from the left hand side opposite the break in that first section there. And we thread it through that bit there. And then we can come through that break there and through that break there. And once you've got it threaded like that, then bring the yarn up and thread it through the hole. So this is the easiest way I've found to thread it, is to come in from the left hand side on that top threader there opposite the hole, because when I was doing it, it was falling out. Then bring it underneath, through that gap there, over the top, into that little guide on the top, through that hole there, so it goes underneath, and you go around there then like that, and through the hole, and then thread it over and under. Right, okay, so the next thing to do now then is to get it over the hooks, and we'll see how it knits. Let's sort out some yarn from this ball. So now you see we can't go over and over, over and under as we normally do. So it's a case of we'll have to go under. Okay, loom pick time. So I got my loom pick here, the one that I glued together, because it stuck. So we're going to have to do it this way then. And we're going to have to lift it over. Well, that's twiddly, isn't it? Under, over, under. So it's a little bit like loading up one of the I-cord makers. Over, under, over rather. So under. This is quite fiddly, I have to say. It's not as smooth as the Addies or the Centros to load up. This bar here, not quite sure of it. I'm hopeful it's going to knit okay. But this is a kerfuffle, I have to say. Over, I've ended on an under, so I must have gone wrong somewhere. I got an under and an under, and that's not right, is it? Oh, I've got two unders. I can see what I've done. I've got two unders here, so I'm going to take this out, and this is going to be tricky. Tricky. I can see what I've done. I've gone and done two unders rather than an under and an over. As I'm going around now, I'm knitting. Oh my word, disaster! But I like to share my disasters with you. I mean, you know, disasters are good. We all have them, don't we? Oh, good grief! All right, let's do this. I don't want to have to thread it through there again. That's what I'm trying to get away from. So let's go backwards, and we'll do this again. And I won't cut it from the video. I will show you that, you know, we all make mistakes. Own it! Own those mistakes, that's what I say. Okay, over. Oh, crikey, come on, come out, you monster. Right, gotcha. So, making sure that yarn now is, let's move it back there so you can see. Making sure that yarn is under there like that, because it does pull up. Let's try again. The crank's alright. So we'll put that back there like that. And let's try again. So let's do an under. That's what I went wrong. I did two unders. And over. And under. And over. Oh, this is twiddly. I'm hoping it's going to knit alright, because I don't think I could cope with this every day. And in all honesty, if this is the first machine you bought, and then it's tricky, I reckon. The threading mechanism for tensioning is a feat of engineering on its own. Over and oh, hallelujah, we're back with an over where we should be, isn't it, guys? We always end on a behind stitch. Right, so now we're kind of threaded, and I've got my yarn in the tensioner there. Let's move it up a little bit so you can see the tensioner there. Now I've got no way of holding this in place, none at all. I'm not sure whether the lid is supposed to go back on the machine. Let's have a little quick peruse. Knitting a tube. Thread the yarn, blah, blah, place the cover on the knitting mill. Okay. Hang down loosely. Continue to turn the crank clockwise until you have reached the required length on your tube. So you're supposed to put the plastic lid back on the machine. What purpose that is going to do, I have no idea what it's supposed to achieve. But let's follow the rules and let's do it as it's meant to be. So we are threaded correctly now. There's the threading there for you to see. Okay. And that is definitely something else. So I've got no way of holding this to the table, so I'm going to have to crank. I have to hold it some shape with one hand and crank with the other. And the cranky thing's going up. Is that right? Right, let's stick my hand in there. Oh, it's not so bad. You can put your hand in the hole there and hold that down. Actually feels decent enough on the crank. I'm going to have to keep an eye on my yarn to make sure I've got plenty of loose yarn. And you can see the drawbridge up there for tension, which is not something I've ever seen before. But it seems to be knitting relatively well, albeit with a little squeak. Let's loosen some yarn here. I've got a bit of a yarn bath. Oh, my nightmare. Every time I get yarn bath, I should use my wool winder more often, you know. And I try to. Right, let's try again. Hold that there like that. I can't think of any other way to hold it. Maybe I can hold it on the top, but then if I do that, you're not going to see what's going on. Actually, holding it on the top is not a bad idea. Obviously, I'm on camera. But yeah, holding it on the top is actually working pretty well. Because you can hold it down and press it down. Be handy if there was some clamps with it, I have to say. But all in all, and this is Aran weight yarn, so it's knitting it okay. Every time you do that though, the tensioner goes up, so I don't know if that's going to affect the finish of the tube. So I suggest preparing your yarn better than I have for this little review. Here we are, come to the ball now. See, every time you loosen yarn, that tension contraption falls down. So prepare your yarn first and then we lift it up. So obviously that little bit now may be at a slightly lesser tension. We shall find out how that looks now when I do. But the handle is really light. A little squeaky. But it's not a brand new machine, it's a used machine. But you know, she said she didn't use it much. Oh, you can actually turn this really, really quickly. There's no resistance on this handle at all. Really, really smooth. Trying to loosen off some more yarn. I'll loosen off more this time. And then we can knit a bit easier. And I'm just thinking about casting off now. That's going to be a bit of an experience as well, isn't it? So, excuse my hands right on the top of the machine here, but I'm trying to hold it in place so it doesn't move. But it's whizzing around really nicely, actually. I can't tell how well the tension is doing. Obviously, it's not adjustable. It's more of a feeder than anything, to be honest. I think it's popped out of that back one. Oh no, I think that's probably right. So I dare say you could hand tension by not feeding it through that little thing, that device. And I've not tried panel knitting on it yet. I'm just doing a quick little tube and we'll see how that comes out. Oh, holding that down is hurting my arm, but there we are. Let's call it a day there. Well, next time on that little... There we go, there's our blue one. So let's call it a day there. Take that lid off. Fiddly widdly. Now we're going to cast off. Now normal casting off is going to be tricky. I've got to work this one out now. Okay, knitting a tube. Knitting a tube, knitting a tube. Done that. And then it goes on to flat panels before it goes on to... There we are, here's casting off. So it does flat panels before it gets to casting off. It's a bit odd. Okay, so... It's a similar system then. Cut off the yarn, leaving a length of about 1 meter. Slowly continue to cloud. Okay. Well, I'm going to do it my way anyway, the way we all know to do it. So I'm going to chop my yarn off. That's the other thing, is changing colours. How would you change colours? Don't know whether you'd put a knot in your yarn to change colours or not. Anyway, I'm cutting off about 1 meter as suggested. I'm assuming I can take it out of there. I'm going to use my loom pick again to pull it out of there, and I'm going to grab a darning needle. It did come with a needle. I think it's attached to the book. It was sellotaped to the little piece of paper. Sorry for the crinkles then. So I've got my yarn and a darning needle here. Let's turn it around, because the other thing is this blocks your view of your stitches. So you can come to the side of it. You can come to the side of this blue bar here and then pick your stitches up. Not too bad then. I was overthinking that, I think. And then we'll see how this little tube turns out. Oh, crikey, I nearly lost that one. Ooh, naughty girl, naughty girl. There we are, caught it just in time. It seems, tension seems loose. So if I was to use it for making a project, I would probably opt to hand tension. That's because I'm used to it. With the Addies, I don't use any tensioning device. I kind of do it by feel. But there are some good tensioning devices out there. Let's take a little bit off that one. So let's do some multi pickups. Again, it's a little bit more difficult for me now because I'm trying to get it in shot for you as well. But so far, the one thing I don't really like, if I'm perfectly honest, I don't like that there. I can understand why it's there for this design, for it to feed through and everything, but I'm not keen on it. But there we are, there's the tube. Okay, there are some anomalies in tension, look, from when that flipper tension bar went up. So let's move that to one side. And there's a little lid. And let's have a look at what our tube looks like. That is quite loose tension. There we go. So apart from that, there, look, that's really nice. Then you can see obviously where the tension went, where that tension bar flipped up. And there's a major tension issue there. Overall it's a nice little knit, but it is much looser than, oh here we go, I got a little piece of knitting done on my Addi 22, which is for an upcoming project, the flower I promised you. So there's a comparison. There's the knit comparison there. That's me hand tensioning on the Addi 22. And again, it's an Aran yarn, and it's got a more of a stretchy spring to it. This one is really quite loose. You can see the stretch to the side there is quite substantial compared to that one. Trying to be equal with it. Yeah, a lot looser. I would suggest hand tensioning rather than using this flippy thing here. It's every time you go for extra yarn, if you've not caked your yarn in advance, that flips down and gives you little tension issues in the run. Apart from that, it's not a bad little machine. I only paid £8 for it second hand, used. I just wanted to give it a go and see how it is. Because I've got an Addi, I'll probably go to my Addi, but definitely if I was going on holidays for a few days, I might take that with me actually, and knit some things up. It's quite light. Holding it down using the lid is a good idea, and I think if you put your hand on it and just crank away, I think it's all right. I'd give it 7 out of 10, and I'd probably give my Addy 9 out of 10, purely because it does split the yarn on casting on. But yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with that. So that's the Prym Midi knitting machine. So if you've got one, let me know how you find it. Do you like it, hate it, anyway, or indifferent? I don't know. So there's my my knit comparison for you there. That's Addy 22 and that's the Prym. 'Tis loose, but it is a good knit. It's a good knit. And if you doubled it up, it's a very usable knit. Just me using it for the first time there. I got some anomalies on the tension there due to the little flipper foot popping up. So there we go. If you find this video informative, and leave a comment. Let me know how you get on with your Prym Midi if you've got one. And like, subscribe and share the video. And I'll see you very soon, because I've got a pattern coming up that's very nearly finished. I'm just waiting for a certain little package to arrive from an online retailer, and I'll be able to finish the video. So see you soon. Take care of yourselves now. Ta-ra for now. Hwyl fawr.